You have to go through ups and downs in life. Without going down, you don't become tough yourself. So
I always feel that when people in prayers ask for strength, they're actually asking for challenges.
yeah, and I remained always positive and optimistic. I've never allowed pessimism to creep into my life. Not going to finance, you will go to tourism. And so I said, sir, but there's no vacancy there. So he said, we'll create a vacancy for you.
Wow.
So they shifted someone out from tourism, put the person in labor, put me into tourism.
Hence, Incredible India was born. What does Sherpa means?
The Nepalese word Sherpa, and it's taken in the context of the Mount Everest. And every country has a Sherpa, and the Sherpa's role is to put it all together for his leader.
So Sher is Sher,
Yeah.
and Pa is father.
Yeah.
So the father of lions. So for Modi ji, he's Sher grandpa,
Well-
and you are Sherpa. I also would like to play a little game with you, and you'll get 10 seconds for one imagination. Do you see a horse on the field?
Yeah.
What color?
I see a brownish.
You can open your eyes and let's discover you. The rate of suicide is so high.
They are the ones who gave me all the ideas. They were the most brilliant people. My suggestion to every single aspirant is do half an hour of meditation or yoga, and that will help you to rise much further in life. G20 was delivered by a lot of young people.
You must be thinking, why am I starting this conversation with a book in my hand? Isliye, because we're not just going to talk about the book, but also about the man who wrote this book. Mr. Amitabh Kant is a very, very celebrated officer. He's called G20 Sherpa. इसका मतलब क्या है? ये terminology कहाँ से आई? क्या मतलब है? We'll understand from him. Why G20 Sherpa? What does Sherpa means?
Well, Sherpa is supposed to take his leader, which in my case is the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, on top of the Mount Everest. And that in G20 context means that you have to bring all the leaders together and ensure that you are able to bring consensus on all critical issues confronting the world during India's presidency. Now, that was a very tough job.
Of course.
Because India did the G20 in the post-COVID era. 200 million people had gone below poverty line. 100 million people had lost their jobs. It was the peak of the crisis of Russia, Ukraine. Then there was disruption because of climate action, climate finance. And the Sustainable Development Goals, only 12% of them were on track. And therefore, all these critical issues were confronting the world. And to bring every country together from G7 to Global South, China, Russia.
Amazing. It's unbelievable what you did. So hence Sherpa.
Yeah, that's why. That's the name.
So Sher is Sher,
Yeah.
and Pa is father.
Yeah.
So the father of lions. So for Modi ji, he's Sher grandpa,
Well-
and you are Sherpa.
Well, the word is taken from the Nepalese word Sherpa, and it's taken in the context of the Mount Everest. And every country has a Sherpa, and the Sherpa's role is to put it all together for his leader.
Which is so fabulous. And in Hindi and English, the way we speak English, and we divided, it's also, the leader of lions.
Yeah,
which is also a beautiful way to perceive, which I feel you are. But जब मैं आपको देखती हूँ, क्योंकि मेरा काम है कि मैं देख के थोड़ा और भी देखती हूँ, and I enjoy my work, I thought we'll go, and people have not explored your childhood. The competitive spirit you have started from a very early age of you being in the school, which was one of the most celebrated Delhi schools, modern public school. And इस स्कूल में बच्चे एक दूसरे की पोजीशन पे compete करते हैं. हर स्कूल में वैसे करते हैं, but being modern, where you have people from all beautiful walks of life, और ज़्यादा करते हैं. तो जब आप पढ़ रहे थे, जब आप स्कूल में थे, उस समय पर did you realize you have that spirit of being competitive, being the leader, being number one, managing everything, everyone around? आपको महसूस हुई ये qualities?
So we had a very outstanding principal called M.N. Kapoor. He brought in this great feeling that you can be a great leader only if you play sports, only if you are excelling in one extracurricular activity, and you also excel in academic. So you should be an all-rounded personality. And he used to say that, the Battle of Waterloo was won on the playing fields of Eton and Harrow. That means by the sportsmen of England. And he imbibed this whole feeling that if students who had done well from modern school actually were those who had done very well in academics, or those who had done very well in sports and extracurriculars in addition to academics. And academics was not the end all of life.
So as growing up, I also realized that you have a brother. So you had this soft competitive feeling with your brother also?
No, he's quite senior.
But then
He's quite senior, and he had already excelled. He'd gone on to excel in doing watches for Titan watches, and he was MD of Tata Motors. So he bought the Jaguar and Land Rover for them. So he had already excelled in life. I was only trying to follow him.
So there was never a feeling that he's doing so much, or I have to really, increase my benchmark and do this and become more powerful and more celebrated. Wasn't that a feeling?
Well, I come from a very humble middle class background,
Not really. Your mother was a principal. There's no humble middle class in.
So my mother was an educationist who was teaching in Banaras Hindu University, and my father was a judge in UP who later became law secretary here. And both of them wanted to give their children the best of education. And my mother then went on to be a Fulbright scholar and teach in America, and came back and was the principal here of a Delhi University college, Maitri College, for a very long period. And my parents' only objective was that they give their children the best possible education. And I think I greatly benefited from the education that I got both in school and college.
And you have also studied abroad. You've been to Harvard, you've been in different universities. So usually मैंने देखा है जब लोग बाहर जाते हैं, I also interact with a lot of bureaucracy here there, because being in the central part of Delhi, I realize that whenever somebody who's very well learned, doing for the country, serving the country, goes abroad, they have this vision कि वहाँ पर ये है, हमारे यहाँ पर ये नहीं है. We always compare being a developing economy. But आप जब पढ़कर आए, and you had this whole idea about elevating Kerala tourism. How did it all started? Where this love for India and to be seen started?
So first and foremost, my family also had this great thing about being rooted in India's culture, India's civilization, India's ethos, India's values. Then when I got into the IAS, I got the Kerala cadre, and I was district collector in a place called Calicut, where Vasco da Gama had landed and discovered India. And it was said that if Vasco da Gama is to come back, he'll find Calicut exactly in the same manner. Till I became the collector, and I broadened about 28 roads. I created a new airport. I created a bypass. I created a breathing lung in the heart of the city, Mananchara Madaan. But I had not anticipated that one of the persons whose building I had broken would go on to become a very leading politician. And I suffered as a consequence of that. I was without a posting for 10 months. So I thought that was the end of my career, actually. And I thought I should resign from the service. But then, they gave me a punishment posting as Secretary Tourism. Nobody had heard of Kerala at that point of time. Everybody used to go to Rajasthan or Kashmir.
Yeah.
And Kerala was an unknown destination. It had only one product, which is a Kovalam beach, where low-value tourists used to come on charters. We closed Kovalam to clean it up and to really demolish a lot of encroachments which had taken place. But we created new products. We created the backwaters of Kerala. We opened them up. We revived the traditional rice boat of Kerala, on which not a single nail is used, and carpenters had gone away to Gulf. We brought them back to do these houseboats. We went back to the roots of Kerala. We revived the traditional Kerala martial art, Kalripet. We revived the Nalkittam houses, which are beautiful traditional Kerala architecture, which was being burnt as firewood. And we went back to Mohiniyattam, Kathakali, Tayyam, the traditional art forms. And we went back to traditional Kerala cuisine, which was unheard of. Appam and stew, now popular, but unheard of at that time. So we differentiated Kerala on its roots, on its strength, on its heritage, on its culture. And we said Kerala is different from any other destination in the world.
God's own country.
Yeah, but the important thing was that we said that the greatest product of Kerala is the Ayurveda. And we said that you have to come here not for 3 days or 4 days, but to really benefit from Ayurveda, you have to come here for 21 days. So when we promoted and marketed it, we said that the National Geographic said that it's one of the 10 exotic paradises of the world. And they said that God's own country is great branding, because when you combine the natural beauty of Kerala with 100% literacy and very high living standards and very good...
And no dowry for girls.
No dowry for girls. So Kerala is a very enlightened society that way. But when you combine it with natural beauty and a very different experience which you get, and that experience you don't get anywhere else in the world. So that's how Kerala became a very celebrated God's own country.
So with this, I have 5 questions now popping up. The first, how was the experience of going through this down trail of 10 months of punishment that you had? What was the feeling? How does it feel when somebody is not posted well, or somebody is an achiever but is downgraded because of their strength? How do you cope up? How did you cope up?
So 2 things. When you're going through a bad phase, you really think it's the end of life. But 2 things I did. One is I did a lot of exercise during that period. I did a lot of meditation during that period. And I did a lot of prayers during that period. And, at one stage, I was thinking that will be I was very young at that point of time.
I'm sure you're still very young, but we're going like 25, 30 years back.
Yeah. So this is going back about 33 years back. So I really thought that was the end of the career. But I've always been optimistic. I never allowed that period to impact me intellectually, mentally, in any manner. And I remained always positive and optimistic. I've never allowed pessimism to creep into my life.
And when people also make you feel that way, it's also your society. Maybe your wife would have said, what will we do now? We have young kids. How will this happen? We can't be in this place. So when people are putting that in your mind, how do you cater that?
Yeah, but I must say that my wife and my children were very young. And actually, they were born in Kerala, and they were very young. But my wife and my children were very supportive. My children didn't feel it so much because they were very young at that period. And, that's fine. I mean, it's you have to go through ups and downs in life without going down. I've had very tough moments later on as well. But without going through tough period, you don't become tough yourself. So
I always feel that when people in prayers ask for strength, they're actually asking for challenges.
Yeah.
Because if God is giving you strength, how else will you display your strength?
That's right.
And you being a scholar and so sharp and so witty, always wanted to be a hero.
Yeah.
So you had to go through your challenges to become a hero. That's where the story is.
That's right.
So the second question that I had in mind, looking at it, is that the punishment became blessing in disguise for you. I mean, you understood that tourism is also, there's so much of scope in it.
Yeah.
But did you experience the backwaters and those houses, everything yourself, or it was just looking at it?
No. I experienced it. I revived it. I brought them center stage, and we worked very hard, and I got a long tenure as well, 3.5, 4 years on tourism. So I could work with the private sector. I said that private sector must drive tourism in Kerala. And then something incredible happened, actually. I was sleeping in my house one day, and I got a call from the Prime Minister's office, the principal secretary to the...
Who was Prime Minister?
Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
Amazing.
And he said that, they said that the principal secretary to the Prime Minister, Mr. Brajesh Mishra, wants to talk to me. And it was a Sunday, and I was sleeping, and I took the phone call, and he said, are you the Secretary Tourism? I said, yes. So he said, Mr. Mishra, and I was young, so I was wondering why he's called me, and he said that the Prime Minister will come down to Kerala for a week. You will be his host. You will host him. You decide the place. And he will not meet any politician. He will not meet panchayat politicians or state politicians, and he will just do some writing. And so he came, and I looked after him for a week in Kumaragam. And that was Kumaragam Musings of Mr. Vajpayee. And, I was with him day in, day out, and I took him into the backwaters, treated him to Ayurveda, got some great poets and writers and musicians to come in the evening and interact with him. So it was a creative 1 week for me. And then one day, I'd taken Mr. Vajpayee to the backwaters, and we came back, and Mr. Brajesh Mishra turned to Mr. Vajpayee and said that this boy has done a lot of good work for backwaters, houseboats, Ayurveda. We should bring him to Government of India and the Ministry of Tourism. So Mr. Vajpayee turned to me and he said कि अमिताभ जी आपने भारत सरकार के लिए अप्लाई किया है? तो मैंने कहा नहीं सर, मैंने तो नहीं अप्लाई किया. तो he said नहीं, बहुत अच्छा किया, नहीं अप्लाई किया. अगर आप अप्लाई करते तो ये ब्रजेश मिश्रा जी आपको टूरिज्म के बदले विमेन एंड चाइल्ड वेलफेयर में भेजते. So that was, everybody laughed, we finished it off and forgot about it. And then, I applied 1 year, 2 months later, and I was supposed to go to Ministry of Finance. That's what the Civil Services Board had selected me for. When the file went to the Prime Minister, again, one day I got a call from Mr. Brajesh Mishra that, have you applied? I said, yes, sir. So he said, do you know where you're going? I said, sir, I'm supposed to go to Ministry of Finance. So he said, no, you remember that conversation 1 year, 2 months back? So you are not going to finance, you will go to tourism. And so I said, sir, but there's no vacancy there. So he said, we'll create a vacancy for you.
Wow.
So they shifted someone out from tourism, put the person in labor, put me into tourism.
Hence, Incredible India was born.
Hence, Incredible India. So as soon as I landed there, the Twin Tower blast happened in New York. There was a war in Afghanistan. There was attack on our parliament, one crisis after another. And our tourism was just doing 10% occupancy. Our hotels were very few, but they were just doing 10% occupancy. So the challenge was to revive consumer demand. We went to tour operators. They said, even if you pay us money for selling packages, there will be no demand. Nobody wants to travel to India. And Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, all had stopped their marketing at that time. And at the peak of that crisis, we launched the Incredible India campaign. And it was a marketing-led campaign which revived tourism in India in a very big way. We went on to do 100% occupancy. And that demand led to the creation of new airports in Mumbai, in Hyderabad, in Bangalore, in Delhi. That's how new infrastructure came up in India.
So wonderful. So आपने अब भारत हो गया, इंडिया नहीं रहा उतना. तो अब भारत के ऊपर have you thought of a tagline? We've got Incredible India from you. We've got G20 Vasudevaya Kutumba from you. But what about Bharat? Have you thought of something?
So, when we did manufacturing, we said make in India. And when we did Startup India. So I've been a part of many innovative initiatives in India, thanks to the government. I mean, I've done several things in driving the branding of India.
So that I'm surely going to come to, because Make in India is extremely close to my heart, and even for the logo. And, being an analyst for logos and the energy of logos, I enjoy it. And I was also looking at your book, and I also saw in your office a beautiful yellow, wallpaper at your back. Why yellow?
Well, I like to use some bright colors and some nice colors which appeal.
You could have used royal blue. That's also a bright color. You could have used fuchsia pink. That's also a bright color. Why yellow?
So, well, I look at different options, and I thought for the office, I looked at blue. And I looked at pink, and I looked at...
And you chose yellow?
I chose yellow because it looked very nice.
Yeah.
It looked...
Because I believe that sometimes we feel we choose things. But as per me, divinity chooses everything.
Yeah.
You can't pick up a book out of 1,000 books and decide to read that one. It's only some knowledge that wants to dawn upon you, and you pick that up. Yellow is a color which is very smart in marketing. It only understands marketing and selling using brands like McDonald's and a lot of other popular brands which talk about innovation, creativity, always have yellow into it. It's a happy color. Hum Basant Panchami manate hain, we use yellow. That is the only day we paint Ma Saraswati from white to yellow. Because it's the color of Basant. It's the first popping of
That's right. That's right.
So yellow also shows your creativity for innovation, selling ideas. And here, look at it.
So, on this book cover also, I looked at different options, and I wanted it to appeal to a viewer. And I also wanted to show how India scaled the Mount G20. So this combination of, firstly, the sight of all the leaders under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi at Rajghat was a very powerful visual. and combining it with green and yellow, the beautiful flowers of yellow and saffron made it look very nice. And that's why we chose this.
And you've used in all the flag colors in a very subtle and in a very beautiful way. I also realized that you could have chosen maybe this strip as yellow, but you chose orange.
Yeah.
Orange is a color which talks about creativity and a lot of power.
That's
talks about picking up pain and converting it into pleasure.
Yeah.
That's why our saints also wear a lot of orange. And then as and when we grew up, you started bringing beautiful hue of green in it.
Yeah.
Because you only believe in growth. You believe in involvement.
That's right.
And everything around you has so much of motivation, inspiration and transformation around it. With this, I would also like to ask that you've worked very closely with our Prime Minister, Modi ji. And for me, I like the way he is. I like the way he portrays himself. And, sometimes people are very powerful, but they don't look powerful unless they open their mouth or they exercise their power. He's powerful and he's visibly also very powerful. But what was your first experience of meeting him? Like, when was the first time you met him and what did you feel after meeting him?
So, I was then the CEO of the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor, and I was going around meeting chief ministers to give land for making new cities on the back of the dedicated freight corridor. And I went to several chief ministers and they just said, it's not possible, it's not possible. And someone said, I'll give you 100. We were looking for very large tracts of land to make new cities in India. And all chief ministers were being very negative about it. And then I went to meet Prime Minister Modi, and then he was the chief minister
of Gujarat.
So he said, how much land do you want? So I said, sir, nothing less than 100 square kilometer. He said, I'll not give you 100, I'll give you 700 square kilometer.
Wow.
And you make the world's best city. That's how we got doing Dholera city, which is now a very, very, where drainage, sewage, solid waste, everything has been done in a very advanced manner on par with. And our objective was that we should create a city which would be as good, if not better, than Singapore. So we ended up doing two great cities. One is Dholera and the other Shendra, Bidkin, and close to Aurangabad in Maharashtra. But he was the most positive and constructive and forward-looking chief minister I met during that time. And later I visited again and again for the Vibrant Gujarat Summit. I used to be the only person from central government who used to go and speak there. So it was a great experience of interacting and working with him.
So what was your first impression about him when he was the chief minister and you met him and he gave you from 100 to 700? You say, ye to 7 guna de dete. What was your first impression of him? What did you saw him as? Did you realize he could ever be a prime minister then?
So one is I found him to be, firstly, very visionary.
Yes.
Leadership is about vision, of thinking ahead, 3 decades ahead. And secondly, I also thought that he was very decisive because he could, just tell his officers that this needs to be done and to think big. Bureaucracy doesn't think big. He thought big and he could tell his bureaucracy. Thirdly, I thought he was capable of taking big risks, which is very important. And fourthly, I found him to be a very good communicator. And lastly, I thought when I worked with him in Gujarat and later in Government of India, I found him to be a very good team leader who thinks ahead. He's really a thinker ahead of his time. He's also very savvy technologically. So when you discuss technology with him, whether it's digital public infrastructure, whether it's fast payments or whether it's artificial intelligence, he's ahead of all global leaders, to my mind.
Yes, and I also feel that looking at him, that he has not left his simplicity. He is in complex situations all through it, but the simplicity has not left him. So I also realized that when you talk about a technology to him, he simplifies it in his own mind and he wants it to be a simplified solution, not a complicated solution. So I think that leadership quality you have also incorporated and maybe learned a lot from him in his presence. So G20, when you gave him the idea that हमको कुछ ऐसा करना चाहिए, G20 जैसा, and everybody was sitting, and they said that ये कैसे होगा? मतलब, is it even possible? How did you make it happen?
So many things came from him. For instance, G20 is normally done in one city or 2 cities
Pan India.
So he said that do it in all states and union territories of India. So doing 230 meetings in over 60 states, 60 destinations, 60 cities of India, all states, all union territory, was logistically very tough and very complex. But every state, he held a meeting with the chief ministers and the governors. All of them supported us. All of them. It was a great example of cooperative and competitive federalism. He was also very visionary in saying that we must be action-oriented, we must be inclusive, we must be decisive, and we must be forward-looking. And that's why during our G20 negotiations, we were very, very ambitious. And that's how we work towards, very, very forward-looking things like bringing an agreement on sustainable development goals, working for balanced, inclusive, sustainable growth, working on women-led development, transforming multilateral institutions, and also pushing for digital public infrastructure across the world. So these are very, very difficult things to negotiate with the rest of the countries. But we were able to bring a consensus on 83 different paras and about close to about 112 outcomes, which was unbelievable and was almost 60 times more than what any other country had accomplished.
And I don't think in next 10 years, anybody can even compete you or take you even closer to what you've done.
Not me. I was merely a Sherpa. So his vision, we were implementing the Prime Minister's vision on ground, and he was very forward-looking.
And it was beautifully done because I remember very closely visiting every airport. And it wasn't just talking about the politicians. It was talking about the culture of the place. You know, like Lucknow Airport will have that glass work of Muradabad. And
that's right.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. So every state, what we did was we said we'll promote only the local art forms, the local culture, the local cuisine, and we'll promote the crafts, all the gifts that were given were one district, one product from that state. So this was an opportunity for the states to promote themselves.
And you did it beautifully well. So much wonderfully came out of it. And I also would like to play a little game with you to bring the reality out of you, which is so much evident, but people would love to know more of you layer by layer going inside. So it's a little game. It's beautiful. You're going to enjoy it, and people can see how wonderful you are as a person. So we're game for it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. So I am going to make you imagine some things, and you're going to side by side tell me what are you imagining. And once you share it with me and your audience, and there are millions of students who look up to you, because for you, country always was first, is first. And it is evident from everything you've done for our country. And we are expecting a beautiful tagline from you on Bharat also. At least I would love to have that from you, because you've given so much to India. Now it's time for you to give it to Bharat. So this imagination is just going to bring more of you, more of Amitabh ji out of Amitabh Kant. And we're going to do that. So you can close your eyes, because it's going to help you better in your imagination. So, and you'll get 10 seconds for one imagination. So you have to be really fast, okay? So first thing I want you to imagine is a field. I want you to imagine a field. What kind of field it is? Just get more hack of it. Is it a
field?
Field, like just a field. When I say field, what does come to your mind? You saw a garden, you saw a forest, you're seeing a park. What is it that is coming to your mind when I say a field?
A forest.
A forest, great. And on this field that you've selected to be a forest, imagine a cube. A cube can be of any size, can be placed anywhere in your field, in your area, and could be of any material you want. What is it that you saw in a cube?
Well, in this cube, I see a lot of forest produce.
Within the cube?
Yeah, within the cube.
And what is the material of cube?
The material of the cube is basically something green, sustainable, and it's made out of the forest produce itself.
Okay, and how big is the cube?
The cube is roughly this big.
That's it?
That's it. I'm not looking at a very large, big cube, but it's this big, and it's made out of the produce of the forest itself. It's made out of some of the tree leaves, and it's made out of some of the threads out of tree produces.
And where are you standing in this field?
Well, I'm standing right in the center of it.
In the cube, inside the cube?
No, I'm standing in the
Center of
field,
the
but I'm
field?
seeing the cube.
You can see the cube also. And is it as big as you? Smaller? What is the size?
The cube is bigger than me.
All right, great. So now that you can see the cube and everything, I want you to also find a ladder in this forest, like a ladder. And what kind of ladder do you see?
Well, I see a ladder made out of wood.
And where is it?
It's close to one of the trees in the forest.
And where is it leading to?
It's leading me right till on top of the sky, right till the sky.
Great. So now you have to...
I have a feeling that I'm going on top of the forest, and there are trees and skies all around me, and that this ladder is taking me
you up.
up on the sky.
And then...
there's no limit for me to go up.
Awesome. And then you have to now look around and see a horse. Do you see a horse on the field?
Yeah.
What color?
I see a brownish...
what is the horse doing?
The horse is running around.
Is it around you, away from you, tied?
Well, it's around me, but it's galloping away.
Okay. And now you have to see a lot of flowers in the forest. Can you see flowers?
Yeah, I see.
What color?
Oh, I see saffron and I see white.
And where are the flowers?
The flowers are on the forest, in some of the beds around the forest area.
Okay. And now can you look up the weather? How's the weather?
The weather is absolutely clear. I can see the trees, I can see the forest, I can see the skies on top. Absolutely clear.
Let's create some storm here. There's a huge storm that has come.
Yeah.
And it's just moving everything.
Yeah.
What all do you see moving?
Well, I see the trees that are waving away. Their trees are moving, and I can feel the ruffle of the leaves, and I can see the storm making a huge sound, and the trees are moving very rapidly. And
is the storm destroying anything?
Well, the storm is making a huge sound and fury of the sound, but it's not destroying it. The trees are moving very rapidly, fast.
Great. You can open your eyes and let's discover you.
Yeah.
So the field, that's a personality test that a lot of countries and corporates use, but it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But let me try it on here. The field that you imagine is you, is your mind. What sort of mind you have. People sometimes imagine playground, they imagine garden, but you imagine the forest. You like to have that rawness in your mind, that creativity where nothing is manicured. Anything can grow, and you have that vastness to accept and create the adventure within your own mind to explore different things, because it's a forest. It's a rare thing. The mind is full of greenery, and the ego is the shape of the cube that you gave. So your ego is depending upon the situation where you are with the people you are. So it's a very sustainable ego you have. Man karega to bada lenge, nahi man karega to hata denge. Sustainable hai. It doesn't destroy much. Now the ego that you created is somewhat similar to what you have. So your ego, when we say ego, it's not in the bad sense, it's in the say of achievement, is parallel to what you've achieved. It's not too huge. You don't hallucinate about yourself. You're very practical. And in the moment of ego or arrogance, you can very well see what you're doing. You observe and you're mindful about your actions, but you're just there. You're not in it. It's not overpowering you. The next thing that you saw was a ladder. So what kind of ambition you have, and is somebody helpful in realizing your ambition? So your friends, your inspirations, people you look up to, and your own ambition is to take support and reach the sky. So I be just praying that this should happen to you. The next thing that you saw was a horse. Horse represents the partner in your life, and also because I've seen your wife, so just see the similarity. You saw a horse which is not tied. So there is no direct control over the partner, and you don't want to exercise also. She has her own space of being around, Not too far, not like vanished, but around, but doing her own strengthful work. The horse could have just walked, but it's galloping. So it's very structured. It's very constructively used energy of the partner that you like. They should be busy. They should be around, available, but not disturbing, you know. The next thing that you saw was flowers all around, which is the area of fame. How do you want to be seen? It's like bed of flowers. The fame that you want to have or you had is about the reality, the groundwork of what work you've done. It's not up hanging there. It's I have done it and it's all over. I can see the result of it. The next thing that you saw was the weather. You like everything to be comfortable all the time. Sab theek rahe, sab set rahe, sab structured rahe. But when a storm comes, then a problem comes in your life, like it came when you were in, Kerala, when you were shifted as a tourism minister, it's always noisy. Nothing is actually destroyed. Any problem has not done anything. It only makes a huge noise without destruction. So that's how the subconscious mind receives when a problem comes. Is bahut shor machega, bahut halla hoga, magar hoga kuch nahi. That's your life and that's internally your subconscious mind. That I hope all the students out there can see, because ambition has no age, and that's exactly what we can see with you. You know, you still want to climb up and up on a sustainable wooden stairs, reaching the sky. With this beautiful thought, what about the students who are studying and they're preparing for examinations, UPSC, and they go under depression, and a lot of them also commit suicide. It's very sad, but then the rate of suicide is so high. What is it that you would like to tell them that when they are not able to crack it at one go? How many attempts you had, Baiter?
Well, I got in my first attempt in the custom service, and then the second attempt in the IAS.
But kuch to milta raha har baar.
First attempt, I didn't even take it seriously. I was just doing my MA and I just wrote it for the heck of it, and I got in. So I thought I should study a little bit and sit the next time. When I studied a little bit, next time I got into the IAS.
Little but, bit nahi karte, zyada karte, to phir kya ho jata?
So my view on this is that IAS is not the end all of life. You know, there's many things I've done irrespective of being in the IAS. You know, I read, I write, I play, I exercise. I mean, this is nothing to do with being in the IAS. And actually, if I was to start my life all over again, I'd probably be a startup entrepreneur, because those opportunities did not exist when I sat for the IAS. And therefore, people who want to sit for the IAS should sit for the IAS, but don't treat it as an end that you keep sitting again for 10 times. No, sit once, twice, thrice, forget it. Go in for something professional, do many other things. There are a lot of things India can do. I mean, we are at a point of our growth where whatever area you take to, there's a lot of energy, a lot of dynamism, a lot of vibrancy required, and young people will make a difference. I worked with about 1,000 young people in Niti Aayog who are policy makers. Young, I took them at a very young age of 22, 23, and they are the ones who gave me all the ideas. They were the most brilliant people. It was not the people who had worked for 30 years in the government, but all these young people who made Niti Aayog. And similarly, G20 was delivered by a lot of young people. So my belief is that the young people bring in so many creative ideas to the table which older people can never do.
So when these kids in competitive spirit go into depression, then do we have something as a government, as a facility, to counsel them and give them different directions to be placed in?
Well, first of all, two things. You should never fall back on a facility. That's the last resort. First of all, when you are sitting for an exam like IAS and you feel it's very stressful, please do exercise for about 90 minutes minimum. Always keep 1.5 hours.
Physical or mental exercise?
One is physical exercise is very important. I'm a great believer that you need to sweat. And therefore, I believe that 90 minutes every day must be kept for yourself, irrespective of what happens. And I maintain this very important. Secondly, spend half an hour just thinking through, meditating, which is very, very important. So my suggestion to every single aspirant is, whether you get into the IAS or don't get into the IAS, do physical work for 1.5 hours. That will help you concentrate. Do half an hour of meditation or yoga, and that will help you to rise much further in life. That's very, very important. And that will keep you intellectually invigorated. That will keep you physically elevated. And that will also keep you spiritually connected.
So when you were in Niti Aayog, why you did not think about bringing it into schools and colleges that have been pursuing to different ministers all the time, that meditation should be incorporated in every school, irrespective of what religion they are in. So
when the COVID happened, a lot of people suffered from this mental problem. And I must have done about 20 odd interactive sessions, and I got a number of leading doctors and number of leading nutritionists, physicians, etc., to interact with students and people who were suffering from mental challenges during that period. And I really think it's very important that every single student works around this. Now, education is really a state subject, and what we need to tell the states is that this can become a very integral part of while sports is an integral part of our education system, yoga and meditation should also increasingly become.
I think because 99% of the ministers and the bureaucrats that we have out there in the system, they don't meditate themselves. Yeah. When you tell them to meditate, they say, ध्यान नहीं लगता. ध्यान लगाना नहीं होता, उसको तो करना पड़ता है. How can आप लगाओगे कैसे?
करना पड़ता है और वो लगातार करते.
And there are thousands of guided meditations in our system that don't touch any religion and can actually transform and take your brain from beta to alpha and to theta level.
That's right.
But इसको हम scientifically ले नहीं रहे हैं. And my request to you is that because you're up there, you're a Sherpa, and as a Sherpa, you have to work for the education system for our kids, where this becomes as important to them as eating or drinking.
No, I totally agree with you, and I'll be very happy to.
Yeah, if they can shift their mind and they know how to use it like a remote control.
The Prime Minister has been stressing this in his in his interaction with students and Pariksha Pe Charcha. He's been telling students that exam is not the end all of life. How well you do in life is not a function of how well you do in passing one exam. That's true.
But I also feel that sometimes we only want to talk about the problem. Yeah. We don't want to talk about the solutions.
Yeah.
And the solution is to give them guided meditation. I think you have to work out with Pradhan Mantri ji and say, sir, आप अपनी आवाज में 20-20 मिनट का meditation record करें. Let people close their eyes and see a different perspective when they are calmed down, so that we give them a concentrated solution where we don't touch any religion. We talk about their body like Yoga Nidra. That's the best that takes your brain into theta state of mind, and you just doze off. आप regenerate करते हो. I think we need more scientific study on it. We need more youth in it. And we have to also tell this misconception. I work with a lot of kids, and when I tell them to meditate, and we're talking about young girls and boys who are studying overseas, part of peer group now doing vaping and marijuana because और कुछ है ही नहीं करने के लिए 2 बजे के बाद. And when you tell them about meditation, they just feel हमारी life celebrate हो जाएगी, हम शादी नहीं कर पाएंगे, हमारा materialistic pleasure कम हो जाएगा. It takes me time to make them understand that it only makes you have better pleasures in life. Yeah. But you choose your right devils, you're mindful about it. So I think ये आपको मेरे लिए करना होगा. You have to bring this into our education system in a very modern way, in a very cool way, where they like to flaunt it, and even before they realize they're into it. Yeah. So we have to...
So I think one of the great things that this government has done is to make yoga very central to everything all across the world. It's become one of the greatest fad and become very fashionable to do yoga across the world, not only in India but across the world, and that's a great gift from India. And I think the next bit will have to be meditation.
Yes, I think because in yoga we are talking more about the circus and the exercise, but the major part of what Patanjali did was his beautiful Yoga Sutra, where there are secrets about how to be an achiever, what are the ways, what are the nitis. I think that is where, we need to bring in, and I'm sure you'll do it. I've just planted my seeds today in your forest field.
Thank you.
So with this, I would like you to give me few quick answers. And then if you give me right answers, I have no worth to give you a gift, but I'll still try my bit. So I'm going to say a few words, and you have to give me one word that comes to your mind about it. And that one word has to be a materialistic word, like SMU, specific measurable unit. So when I say peace, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Tick, tick, 1. Tick, tick, 2.
And basically energy, inner energy.
So that energy helps you to interrogate or calm down.
Calm down.
When I say prosperity, what is the first thing that comes to you?
Means to an end.
So just the basics to be met.
Yeah, that's right.
And when I say power, what is the first thing that comes to you? A face, a name, attitude, quality?
To my mind, it's power to deliver good to people, to citizens. Power is again a mean to deliver goodness for the people around you. It can't be an end in itself.
So now I'm going to say
power should never be a means to your own name and fame, but to use that power to transform lives of citizens.
So power for you is transformations in others' lives.
Yeah, that's right.
Great. So now I'm going to say a few names and one word or one synonym of that person or persona. And I heard that you love listening to songs of Muhammad Rafi and Lata Mangeshkar. So what's your favorite song?
Well, I listen to ghazals of
Jagjit Singh?
Jagjit Singh, and don't ask me, I have a whole range of...
No, but give me three favorite.
No, I think I can give you the... that I listen to Jagjit Singh, I listen to Ghulam Ali, and listen to Talat Aziz, but don't ask me to name this.
Yeah, I won't. So when I say Nirmala Sitharaman ji, what is the one word you have for her?
I think very, very high level of integrity and very, very quick in her disposal and very, very forward-looking.
Somebody like your name, Amitabh Bachchan.
A phenomenal actor, superb voice, and also I think brings in vast repertoire or acting power again.
And Shah Rukh.
Lively, energetic, dynamic, and a great actor.
So, Nitin Gadkari ji.
A deliverer on infrastructure.
Modi ji.
Very visionary, very bold, very risk-oriented, transformational, and to my mind, a great team leader and a nation builder.
Krishna, Lord Krishna.
A great strategist, a great romanticist, and a great person with great foresight and vision.
And Mahadev.
Again, a great lord, a great visionary, a great person who exudes great dynamism.
And when there is a moment of despair, who do you remember amongst all the...
I look up to Hanumanji.
And one word for Hanumanji.
Energy, peace, I think calmness.
So you've got great marks in your test, like your first and second attempt, like top of the top. So I have two beautiful gifts to share with you. When I say share, because I can't give, I can only share. You know, I'm not in that capacity in this life. So I would really be happy if you can just open your gifts, because I love opening them.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see what you've got.
Oh, thank you.
So I thought a Sherpa with a grandpa would be a great idea to bring this association.
Thank you.
And
It's a very nice, lovely gift.
Opportunity with a frame of amethyst, so that your intuition and your knowledge grows, and little silver on the side, so you always remain precious to us.
Thank you.
I've got another gift for you.
Thank you so much.
How else do we express our love and our affection for someone? They could have done a little more stuff in here. So let me... Oh, it's...
A very nice...
You have to close your eyes because they've not done the job good. That's a Vishnu ji for you.
Oh, thank you so much. Such a pretty one.
Yes,
very
because I believe what you have done for us, for our country, and for the beautiful taglines, he also find tools and mediums to operate through
So
people
so
and develop well for our country, our structure.
I'm very thankful to you and very grateful to you. Lovely gift.
Yes, so this is just little affection.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका.
Thank you so much for you.
बहुत सोच समझ के आपने ये गिफ्ट दिए. बहुत धन्यवाद.
No, it is the only reflective thing that I could sense around with you. And you're a great believer in astrology and different sciences, but you don't like wearing stones because you just find it's not you. So I thought emerald is one thing that should reach you through Vishnuji.
Thank you.
I did my bit.
Thank you.
But I'm so touched by what you've done for the country, for Kerala, for India, for G20, for Startup India and Make in India. All of this is closest to my heart. Now you have to do it for the kids, our future generation, your grandchildren, my grandchildren, all of it together. So looking forward to great work, and please keep continuing and inspiring millions of lives.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure.